Today, I'm going to talk about the buyout of the marital residence. There are a lot of misconceptions about this, and I've been asked by my colleagues to record this video. I'm Anju Jessani. I'm a divorce mediator with offices in Clinton and Hoboken, New Jersey, but this video applies no matter which state you own a home in. So let's talk about the value of your home versus the net equity, because there are oftentimes people say, I have a $700,000 home, and they think if they're getting half, they're getting $350,000. But we have to look at the mortgage or any other liens, such as a home equity line against the home. So our parties, John and Mary, have this house they bought for 300,000, and it's now worth 700,000. So that's the first number we're looking at, and we're going to subtract out the mortgage plus the home equity line, which leaves us a balance of 250. Equity is the difference between what the house would sell for and what you owe on it, and that's really, in a sense, how much you're in on the house. When you are looking at divorce and the house, there are really three options. One is you sell and divide the proceeds. So if John and Mary were to sell the house today, they'd take that 700,000, they'd subtract out their loan plus their closing costs. And because the capital gain is under 500 jointly, they don't owe any capital gains tax. So they're going to each walk away with 107,500. They could continue to own the home together and sell it later. People do this when their child is a high school senior. But sometimes if there's no end date, you're just kicking the can down the road. And what happens later if one person wants to leave? What happens if they don't maintain the house, etc.? So that is a good solution in amicable situations when there is an end date and that there's some safeguards in place that the mortgage gets paid. And the third is one person can keep the house and buy the other out, which happens, I would say, in about 60% of my divorces. So let's look at a buyout, and let's say this is their only asset. There's nothing to offset. If Mary keeps the home, she has to refinance it to pay John out. So in addition to her old loan of 450, she has to borrow another 125, and her mortgage now goes to 575. She has 125 equity in the home, and John gets his share of the money when she refinances. But I want to point out that without the escrow, without the real estate taxes and homeowners insurance, if she had been paying 3.5% interest rate on 450, that payment would have been 2,200. Now her payment on 575 is going to be 3,825. And that is the challenge right now with people doing a buyout. Interest rates have gone up a lot, especially if you refinance during COVID. Now, that's what happens if Mary 6 months later says, oh, this house is too much for me. I just need to sell it. And the house is still worth 700,000. So now, after her own closing costs, because she's bearing 100% of them, and now she owes a capital gains tax because she only has her 250 exclusion, her net proceeds will be 75,000. Had she and John sold the home together, he would have shared the closing costs and there would have been no capital gains tax. So now in her pocket, she's got 75, not the 107.5 that she would have gotten had they sold it together. So you really have to be careful in making that decision on holding the home. It has to be a long-term proposition. Let's look at some of the pros and cons of a buyout. On the pro side, your finances are now separate. If the house is right size, then you're in the right place. You are providing stability for the children. You're avoiding moving costs. Even the cost of putting blinds in a new house or a new apartment can be expensive. You benefit from future appreciation, and the children may have a preference for the parent who stays in the home. On the con side, if you decide to sell shortly thereafter, as we showed you with the numbers, you're going to be paying 100% of those closing costs, and you may have a capital gains tax. There's a risk that the price may go down. There's no guarantee that prices always go up. This may be too much house for you, and you have to make that decision. Financing rates are high right now, and so your interest rate may make the house unaffordable, And the former spouse might look at the house as it's theirs. So my final advice to you is don't do a buyout if you wouldn't buy that house today. Just don't. It's going to be expensive and you'll probably regret it. I've had clients tell me that. I have an interview with a realtor, Mary Malone. It's on the index of my website, or you can go to YouTube and watch it. And finally, I have written an article with two accounting professors on taxes in the marital home, and you just email me and I'm happy to provide that to you. I want to thank you for watching my video. It's on Anju Jessani for Divorce with Dignity Mediation Services, saving dollars, making sense.